Hello and welcome to another quick tour for Cartographica version 1.2. In this screencast we'll be talking about computing columns. Computing columns is a new feature of version 1.2, and to do it, it's a very easy process that begins by clicking on the window menu at the top and then clicking on the show layer info option, which is right there. Once we click on the show layer info option, we get this window, and this window is basically shows all of the information pertaining to the block group polygon layer, which is right here, and that's the only layer we have added to our map right now. So what we see here under the name column is all of the individual fields or variables that are within the block group layer. And so what we're going to do is create a new field, and we're going to set the type of variable that it is. The type indicates the level of measurement that the variable's at. For example, an age variable is a continuous variable, so it's a number. And then also we have, for example, block group ID numbers or strings because they're nominal. But what we're going to do is we're going to add a new field, and then we're going to calculate values for the individual data that we need for each block group. So the way to do that is to click the plus button, and you see once we click the plus button we get this new column name here. So it's named new column, it's a string variable, and currently there's no data added to this layer. So what we're going to do is make that data ourselves, which can be very handy. So the first step here, we'll change the type to a number. And also, once you change the variable, once it's added, it's going to set it as in alphabetical order. So it's comes after the M's here. And we're also going to change the name though. So we're going to change it to the name rate, just because that's what we're going to calculate once we set the formula. So we have rate now as the name, and the type of variable is a number, which is what we want. And we can lock it in there by putting the lock button on. And then now we can set formula, and basically how this works is these are your variables down below in the bottom pane of this window, and we can basically just click and drag any variables that we want to use to compute whatever it is that we want to compute. In this case, we're going to compute a rate. So the way to do that is we're going to compute a rate of young adults in the city of Washington, D.C., so people age 18 to 21. And the way to do that is just to click and hold and drag it up into the top window, and you manually insert your math operators, and these are standard symbols for math operations. So the / for division. And now we're going to use a total population variable for each block group, which is the pop 2000 variable, and we're simply going to multiply that by 1000, and that will give us the rate of people age 18 to 21 per 1000 individuals in block groups. And we're just going to click OK. And now the variable should be computed. So we can close the layer window, and we will find our rate variable, which is at the far right here of our tabular data. And we can see we have this new column with numbers added, and it has the rate of people age 18 to 21 per 1000 in the city. And you can see the range. It ranges from, there's a couple block groups with 0, and then there's also one with 910, so one with a lot of young people per 1000 individuals. And so once we've calculated the rate, we can take this example a step farther and actually display those rates on our map by simply using a chloropleth map. And to do that, we just double click on our block group layer, and then we come up here to where it says based on, and we're going to go and find our new variable that we created called rate. And then all we need to do is add, we can choose the number of column or categories we want to classify this variable by. So we can do 6 categories, and then we can hit the distribute button. And the distribute button reclassifies the variable based on a Jinx classification. So we can click distribute, and now you can see the numbers change. So we have individual column or categories representing certain gradations of our new rate variable. And then the best way to display the colors on screen are, well, really there are 2 ways. You can do it manually, so we can click on each individual category like this, and as we do that, we can click on the fill button, and we can change the color. And so you can see that bottom category, we've now made this cayenne color. But a more efficient way of doing it is to click on Window, and then to show color palettes. And then this window will appear, and this window allows you to create your own color schemes and also to use some of the ones that come stock with Cartographica. So in this case, we'll just use the heat ramp, and the way to get the color ramp over onto the layer stack or the layer styles window is to simply click and hold and drag it over and drop it in, and it's as simple as that. And then all of the categories below will show the different variations of people age 18 to 21. And if we needed to know what each color represented in terms of the number of that age group in each block group, a good way to show it is to click on window and to show legend. And this will bring up this little window, and you can click on this triangle and it shows you the different numbers of individuals that are represented by each color on the map. So you can see that the red color are the locations where there are the most young people, and alternatively the places where there are the fewest young people or young adults, we'll say, are in the that sort of dark blue color. And that is Computing Columns in Cartographica version 1.2. Thank you for listening.